From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update.
Hi, this is Kylie Conway, and this is your News 8 Daily 8 for Monday, October 24th. A beautiful day in store, partly sunny skies with temperatures getting into the upper 70s. Winds are going to pick up this afternoon, get a little breezy. Then tonight, some clouds, winds, and rain chances increase into the overnight hours. Indianapolis police say a shooting left 2 people dead on the near north side. We covered this as breaking news this morning on Daybreak. It was near 38th and Meridian at the Enclave Apartments. Happened just before 5 o'clock this morning. IMPD officers say they found 2 people shot near the Enclave at Meridian Apartments, not far from that intersection, about a mile and a half east of Crown Hill Cemetery. We don't know the circumstances, who the victims are, who police are looking to answer a lot of those questions. As we get those answers, we'll bring them to you throughout the day on Wish TV, and you can always find updates on wishtv.com. Indianapolis police say they've talked to several witnesses after a deadly weekend shooting happened yesterday afternoon on Hampshire Court near 42nd and Post. Officers found a man shot inside his home, and medics pronounced him dead. IMPD hasn't released any information about what led up to the shooting or a potential suspect, but are asking any witnesses to come forward with information. Investigators say a man on a motorcycle may have been going too fast when he lost control, crashed, and died. It happened last night in Henry County, though authorities aren't saying exactly where. The sheriff's department says Newcastle medics who were heading to a different call found the crash victim. Eric Neal was 45. Investigators think he went off the road at a curve, flipped several times, and died there at the scene. Today, jury selection begins in the criminal trial of the Trump Organization. It's in New York, where the Manhattan District Attorney claims the company helped top executives avoid taxes on perks like rent-free apartments and luxury cars. Former President Donald Trump is not on trial, and prosecutors have indicated they will not try to have him testify. His longtime chief financial officer, Alan Weisselberg, is likely to be a star witness for the prosecution. He pleaded guilty in August to taking more than $1.7 million worth of untaxed perks. He's required to testify as part of a plea agreement. The January 6th House panel may be considering live testimony from former President Trump. One key member of the committee says it will not, however, turn into a circus. Vice Chair Liz Cheney spoke on Trump's subpoenaed testimony yesterday. The panel is demanding Trump's testimony under oath next month, as well as records relevant to its investigation. Trump has reportedly said he might consider complying with subpoena if he could participate in live testimony. Cheney did not directly answer whether the panel would allow that. Cheney also says the panel will take action if Trump does not comply. A federal appeals court has cleared the way for the January 6th panel to get a hold of Kelly Ward's phone records. Ward is the head of Arizona's Republican Party. The court rejected her request to block the panel's subpoena for the records. The court ruled it's not about Ward's politics, but instead her involvement in the events leading up to January 6th. It adds that it's looking to uncover those with whom she communicated in connection to those events. More leading health voices are warning of the dangers of RSV. As we've reported extensively on Wish TV through all of our day parts, online at wishtv.com, doctors nationwide are reporting a surge of the virus. It is not rare. The CDC says most children will contract it at some point before they turn 2. The current problem is the number of cases. Some doctors describe the current pace of RSV as unprecedented. Some emergency rooms say RSV threatens to overwhelm them. Doctors remind parents that pediatricians and family doctors can test for and treat RSV as well. And today, a possible guilty plea from an accused school shooter. Prosecutors say Ethan Crumbley will change his plea from not guilty during a hearing. Police say he shot 4 students to death at Oxford High School in Michigan last November. Crumbley was 15 at the time, though he will be tried as an adult. He's facing 24 charges, including 1 count of terrorism causing death and 4 counts of first-degree murder. Prosecutors say he will not receive a plea deal for changing his plea. Alex Jones wants a new trial in Connecticut. That's where a jury has called for the conspiracy theorists to pay nearly $1 billion to families of Sandy Hook victims. The families testified the lies Jones told about the massacre led to threats and harassment of the families. The attorneys for Jones requested the new trial over the weekend, claiming pretrial rulings resulted in an unfair trial and, in his words, a substantial miscarriage of justice. A jury in Texas also ordered Jones to pay families of victims, and he faces another trial there next year. Boris Johnson will not take another run at leading the United Kingdom. The swift downfall of his successor, Liz Truss, as British Prime Minister, prompted Johnson to take the first steps in a new run for the role. But Sunday, he removed his name from consideration. That leaves Rishi Sunak as the clear frontrunner for the post, with Penny Mordaunt also in the running. If Mordaunt gets enough support today, the issue will head to a vote of party members around the UK. If she does not, Sunak could land the job today. In the war in Ukraine, the Biden administration is condemning claims that Ukraine is planning an attack involving radioactive contamination. Russia accuses Ukraine of preparing what's called a dirty bomb. A dirty bomb is a device that uses explosives to scatter radioactive waste. Russia's defense chief made the allegation yesterday during a call with U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin and counterparts in Britain, France, and Turkey. Russia claims Ukraine could detonate a dirty bomb, then blame it on Moscow. The White House says the U.S. rejects the claims and warned Russia against them as a pretext for escalation. What was Hurricane Roslyn is now much weaker as it crawls into the United States. The storm made landfall Saturday near Santa Cruz, Mexico, with 120-mile-an-hour winds. Local media reports say 2 people died after taking shelter in buildings that then collapsed during the storm. The remnants of the storm are crossing the southern border this morning in southwest Texas. A manhunt is underway in New York for a man seen on video pushing a New York City subway commuter onto the train tracks. Police say it happened Friday in Brooklyn. According to police, the victim was hurt from the fall but was not hit by a train. They say the attack was unprovoked and intentional. Police say crime is up more than 41% in the city's subway system this year. And New York City and state officials are bolstering efforts to cut the crime rate and address mental health. New initiatives include increased police presence in the subway system and new training for officers engaging with homeless people. Crews will install more cameras. 2 new 25-bed units will also serve as a treatment program to help people experiencing serious mental health issues. A key component of the plan includes an effort to modernize the criminal justice system. New York Mayor Eric Adams says he wants to expedite the length of time it takes for a suspect to be formally charged. Salman Rushdie has lost sight in one eye. Nerve damage limits the use of his hand, and he's dealing with several wounds in his neck and chest as he recovers from a stabbing. That is the newest update from Rushdie's agent. The author suffered the injuries when a man attacked him at a lecture in August. Speaking to a Spanish newspaper, El País, agent Andrew Wiley is not revealing whether Rushdie is still in the hospital or where he is. Houston is heading back to the World Series, this time against the Phillies. Philadelphia took down the San Diego Padres in Game 5 yesterday to take the National League title, the first World Series appearance since 2009. The Astros are undefeated this postseason, completing the sweep of the Yankees yesterday. This will be the Astros' 4th World Series appearance since 2017. Game 1 is Friday night in Houston. The Titans control the AFC South rivalry, sweeping the horseshoe for the second straight season. The Titans forced 3 Colts turnovers yesterday in Nashville, including a 76-yard pick six off a Matt Ryan pass. Indy trailed 10-0 at the half. A 4-yard touchdown to wide receiver Paris Campbell in the third quarter cut the deficit to 6. A fourth quarter Colts fumble all but sealed the 19-10 Tennessee victory. Yesterday's loss is now the Colts' 5th straight to Tennessee. It's the 4th time Tennessee has swept the Colts since the two became division rivals in 2002. And tonight, the Pacers play on the road for the first time this season, coming off a strong Saturday night win over the Pistons. The victory snapped a 12-game losing streak dating back to last season. Rookie Benedict Mathurin finished with 27 points off the bench. Tyrese Halliburton had 24 with 10 assists. Tonight's game tips off at 7 in Philadelphia. To business headlines, a report published by Wallet Hub found Indiana was the state struggling the least when hiring new workers. The new report looked at 2 data sets for all 50 states and the District of Columbia from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, the most recent job openings rate in August, and the 12-month job openings rate. In August, Indiana's 5% job openings rate was second best in the country, tied with New York and Missouri. Over half of U.S. workers surveyed by Qualtrics want to work overtime or get extra shifts to make more money as cost of living expenses continue to rise. Almost 70% of working parents surveyed said they don't earn enough to keep up, and 64% want more work hours. Bird flu killed close to a record number of poultry in the U.S. this year. More than 47 million birds have died due to infections and cullings, including at some Indiana farms. This has spurred export bans, lowered egg and turkey production, and contributed to record prices of eggs and poultry. A new study released in September by Wine America, a winery trade organization, estimates wine's economic impact this year will be about $276 billion. COVID shutdowns dealt a blow to wine tourism in 2020 as wineries closed to visitors for several months, but retail and online sales boomed. The Powerball jackpot is now up to at least $610 million, or just less than half that if you take the cash option. It's the 8th largest jackpot in 30-year history of the game. The next drawing is set for 11 o'clock tonight. Taylor Swift is breaking records with her new Midnights album. According to Spotify, Midnights became the platform's most streamed album in a single day. It says Swift is also now the most streamed artist in a single day in Spotify's history. She broke both records on Friday, the day of the album's release. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway. Online at wishtv.com and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update on demand. For even more, on demand and on the go. Connect with Wish TV on Facebook at wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening. And be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.